Hi guys, it's Chris with City Girl Homestead. So, I know I got colored hair, right? But it's from that sun catcher. Anyways, this is part one of our pantry and preparation and all those videos that I wanted to do. So grab your pencil, come along with me, and I'm going to share some information that I got. And then the next video we'll get more into doing other details, okay? So this one is more of just an information video on things that we would need, etc., some rules, whatever. All right, the first thing is food preservation. And I wrote down the tools that we would need to be able to do some of that. The first one's a dehydrator. I do have I think it's a 9 tray, but you can go as cheap as you can. You can dehydrate outside, you can dehydrate in your oven. Look on Marketplace. You can a lot of times find very reasonable dehydrators. The next thing is something I don't have that it'd be really nice if I did, and there is an actual link below that you can click on if you're interested in buying one, and that's a freeze dryer. My sister has one, Renee has one. Actually, she's gonna send me a care package for a collab that I'm doing next month. A water bath canner. And when I say a water bath canner, you can buy the legit water bath canners. But if you have big stock pots, you can put, rings from your canning jars. You can put towels at the bottom. Anything that the water can go over 1 to 2 inches over top of it at a rolling boil. And you know that you've got a lid for. Pressure canners, we all know what those are. That's to do our non-acidic food, meats, beans, some of our vegetables, other things like that. Canning utensils, a food chopper. You don't have to have a food chopper, but let me tell you what, when you're canning, it saves a lot of time. You need a blanching and steaming basket. I don't have one of those. It's something that I'll have to invest down the road. Glass jars and lids. Mylar bags and oxygen absorbers. Mylar bag sealer. I do have a sealer. I've never used it yet, but you can also use the crimp curling iron to close that up. A vacuum sealer. I'm telling you, that's the first thing I invested in when I started preserving, and I call it my sucker outer. That's what that is. And that, honestly, I use it all the time. A blender or a food processor. All right, so this is kind of in order, but we'll see. All right, so you need to store canned goods. You're going to need a manual can opener, because what if the crap hits the fan and your electric doesn't work? You need to be able to get into your cans. So now let's see how I've got this here. Okay, I've got everything numbered, I hope. All right, so these are things that you can store and for how long that you can start your pantry. So these are just going to be things, and then the next video I'm going to write down an outline like I did this time, and then we're going to talk about storing those things or what we can use with those things. Because, we can store to the end of the world, but if we don't know what to do with those things, it's kind of pointless. Do not store stuff that you're not going to use. I have a lot of beans and rice stored, and I'm not a fan of either one, but I am learning different ways to store to eat my rice and to eat the beans, and actually I've become a bean lover, and I am starting to really like rice, depending on how I cook it or how I do it. Okay, so sugar, honey, and other things, other sugars. Maple syrup, 2 years. Corn syrup, I didn't know this. I don't use it very often, but forever. Molasses is 10 years unopened, or 1 to 5 years in the pantry. I've heard it lasts longer than that, but you use your judgment. Powdered sugar, this is something else I didn't know. Forever. Stevia, you can store for 4 years. Sugar is forever if you store it properly, and that's something in the next video we'll talk about too. Freeze-dried foods are 25 years plus. Dehydrated fruits and veggies, in regular jars, you can save them up to a year. Special packaging with your shock absorbers, the O2 absorbers, 5 to 15 years. So, if you're a big one on planting a lot of your herbs and spices and stuff like that, You can get the little tiny Mylar bags and store them, and they will last you for almost ever. Jerky, believe this or not, I thought that would be something that would last forever. So I've learned a few things myself. If you buy it at the store, it's 1 to 2 years. That's not very long. If the homemade, 1 to 4 months. That's not very long. Dried beans, forever in the freezer. If you vacuum sealing them, 5+ years. Containers with absorbers, 5+ years. If you use Mylar bags to store your beans, 25+ years. And for me, you know, I'm 57, that's probably my lifetime. Jarred foods, commercial. Believe it or not, anything that's in glass, like the jams and applesauce and peppers and pickles and pasta sauce and baby food, 5 years. Now, do I believe all that? No, I don't. I believe if you keep it out of the light and you keep it at a good temperature, I think it'll last longer than that. Am I going to tell you that it is? No, I'm only going according to the guidelines, but 5 years. Home canned foods, they don't usually last as long as the canned foods, but they can last 2 to 5 years. Now, excuse me. My grandma canned stuff and she used it way past that. As long as you keep your, and I believe this, my canned goods are all left downstairs in the basement, and it stays about, I don't know, maybe 60 degrees, 65 down there all year round. When Tom brings me up jars from downstairs, they feel cool. So as long as you keep them in a dry, cool, don't have a bunch of light on them, because I've told you before, light is one of the worst things that you can do for food preservation, heat and cold too. Pasta is good for 2 years past the buy date, and it's 20 to 30 if you use Mylar bags with absorbers. That's a big difference. So the O2 absorbers, I think, would be a wise investment. This is something else, and I totally believe this. With pasta, get them, if you get them in the cardboard box, get it out of there. That cardboard absorbs moisture. It will make your pastas go bad so much quicker. So anything that you get in cardboard like that you want to keep a long time, I've done, you know, my mac and cheese like that, and then just put the instructions in there. I've done, you know, oh, what do I want to think? I can't think of it. But a lot of my stuff that came in the cardboard boxes, I've taken out, and I've at least, you know, vacuum sealed them. White rice, it says freeze or microwave before storing, but airtight containers, it can be forever. Brown rice will only store 6 to 8 months. In the freezer forever. If you put them in Mylar bags with absorbers, 30+ years for your rice. Whole grains, 2 years. But if you put them in your Mylar with absorbers, 10 to 12 years. I mean, we're looking at big differences in how you store your food as to how long it's going to last. Nuts, it's just months. If you want your nuts to last longer, put them in Sealy bags and put them into your freezer. It will make them last a lot longer. I know that from personal experience, because we got a whole bunch of nuts and I put them in bags, put them in the freezer, suck the air out, and they'll last a very, very long time. Peanut butter, it's only 5 years. And they say store it upside down, which I need to have Tom change for us now, because we have a lot of peanut butter stored. Turn it upside down and it stores better. Do not ever store natural peanut butter, because it will go rancid. Powdered milk, 2 to 10 years, as long as you keep it from humidity and heat. And that doesn't say to keep it in a Mylar or anything else. You can keep it in its bag. Just make sure not to get the heat, the humidity, and the light to it. Salt and bouillons last forever. And, you know, I didn't think of this one. And I don't have any stored up. And so I'm thinking next time I go to the Dollar Tree, they sell the little plastic containers of them, of the bouillon. But if you think about it, and they mention this, is that, you know, we store salt because you do need salt. For all of those that have high blood pressure and whatever, I know you have to watch your salt content. But I remember when Missy, at one point, her salt content dropped too low, and it actually put her in the hospital. So you do need salt in your body. And it's great to season your food. I mean, if you're eating out of a can, believe me, you're going to want some seasonings. But I never thought about that, to use the bouillon, because that lasts as long, forever. And, you know, if you want rice, I mean, just putting a little bit of salt on it's not going to be too tasty. But if you put, you know, a chicken or a beef bouillon or even a vegetable bouillon in there, that's really going to make that rice taste so much better, or whatever else you want to make, chicken, whatever it happens to be. Instant mashed potatoes. In the packaging, 5 to 15 years, despite the use by date. Once it's been opened, only 6 to 12 months. Now we store our mashed potatoes. I know it's going to sound funny, but we have big water jugs that are like 2.5, 5 gallon, whatever. We have them stored in there with the lid tight. We don't open it. Once we do, then it goes into the smaller packages so that we can, you know, store them up. Unsweetened cocoa can last 6 years past the expiration date. Cocoa, however you say that, 2 to 3 years tops. Flour in the pantry, only, you know, just a couple of years. But if you put it in Mylar, it'll last 10 plus years. If you put it in the freezer, forever. I keep my flour and my sugar in Mylar bags, and then I put them in those 5 gallon buckets and keep the lids on top. So that's how I store my flour and sugar. Cooking oil up to 2 years. Spices 2 to 5 years. Crackers, as long as they're more of the fat-free crackers, you can store them up to 10 years in Mylar. And I actually do have, and this is a, I have crackers that I have stored in my, my canning jars, and I have the suction out of the lids, and I've opened them up and they taste really good. I'd seen it somewhere, and so I thought I'd try it. I had some crackers that were down there for 2 years. I cracked it open and they were just like the day I put them in there. They were really, really good. But you need to make sure you have one of those suction out things for the lids on your canning jars. I can't even read my writing on that one. I don't know what it was. Jello mix can last forever unless you open it, and then it's only 3 months. Almost done here. Vinegar can be stored forever. Condiments are good for 2 years up past expiration date. If they say 2 years, you guys, I mean, we talked about using the stuff in the freezer that was from 21, whatever, and, you know, use your best judgment on any of that. You know, I mean, I've seen people open up cans. My dad used to do an auction service, and they were dented and bruised cans and whatever. And as long as, you know, no seals were broken on it, as long as there's not any, when you touch the top, you know, there's so many things that are good past that date. Just use your common sense. When you open it, check it, smell it, whatever. Baking soda, powder, yeast can last a year if stored properly, but take them out of any metal cans that they come in. Instant coffee, forever. Absorbers for the coffee and Mylar is the best to store regular coffee. So there are a few things. You can go back through the video, and then I haven't decided how to put the next video together, but I thought I'd put some of the things out there on how long they last and things that we need to make them last. If I was to start over again, the very first thing I would do is I would honestly buy my vacuum sealer. That would be like the first thing that I would buy, because, you know, I save meat and fish and, you know, all kinds of stuff. If I know that I'm going to use it within a month or so, I'll just put it in a regular freezer baggie. But if I know that it's going to be in the freezer for longer than that, I always, you know, use my vacuum sealer. trying to think. I do have Mylar bags, but now that I've seen some of this stuff, I want to buy some of the little tiny ones because I want to do a lot of my own dehydrating of my spices and stuff like that. I do have them in jars now, but if I can make them last a whole lot more years, because there's certain things that you don't hardly use, you know what I mean? So if I can make them last a whole lot longer, then I want to do that. I want to do that. And the next thing would be, obviously, I started out with a water bather, and then I went to a pressure canner. Now, my first pressure canner actually is my favorite. I got it from the auction service, and I paid $18 for it, and it's from 1974. I love that canner. It's not good for dual stacking. It's only for one row, but I'm telling you, I love that canner. Love, love, love that canner. And I had to buy a new seal for it, and actually the seal cost more than the canner did. But you can buy a lot of that stuff on Marketplace. A lot of people that think they want to get into canning. I don't go to a lot of the thrift stores because here they're all like, you know, Salvation Army, whatever. We don't have any actual thrift stores. Well, we do have one that they just put on Lake Lansing, and honestly, the prices that they get for their stuff, I'm not paying it. I'll go out and buy new. And then I got that really good blender, you know, at the auction service. I think I paid $14 or $17 for it. That thing has been amazing. It works great for doing jellies and all that other stuff too, so it saves a lot of time. And then the food choppers. I've got that little white one you can find below, but I love that chopper because it's got the open back, so I can just keep dumping out. I don't have to keep taking the chopper apart. The other thing is definitely a dehydrator. I have a small one up on top of my refrigerator that I started out with. I think it cost me $43. The one I have in my storage room actually was expensive. It was Excalibur, and it works great if you have a ton of stuff to dehydrate. So I mean, the tools that you need to do some of the preservation, you know what, guys, don't think that you have to go out and buy that overnight, because I didn't. It took a few years to get all that stuff. Start out what you feel is best for you and your storage needs. Then go from there. If it's Mylar and O2 absorbers and that's all you want to do, Amazon, you can get, you know, pretty good deals on that stuff. Start where you can afford. Or, you know, put a few bucks aside until you can afford to get what you want. For a freeze dryer, you better put a lot of bucks off to the back. They're very expensive, and I would love to have one. But, you know, that'll be something that'll come down eventually. So I hope that the times and the storage amounts, that was good for the first video. Then we need to get into what we're going to do with our pantries and how we build them. And, you know, I'm trying to research as I go along. I know what I do, but what I do may not be good for you. It's just like my kitchen, my rules. The same thing for your pantry. You have to plan what's best for your family and your needs. Like, you know, some people may never store green beans because they don't like them. You know, someone despises, you know, rice. And, you know, I have actually stored up rice in 2-cup bags as well, that if something did happen, you can use it as a barter item. Rice and beans are a really good barter item as well. So I have a box of things that is just for bartering. I mean, obviously I'll use them, you know, I'm not going to let them go bad. How's that? And I'll use them up. But I do have a box downstairs that is just for bartering, because not everybody thinks about preparing. It's really sad, because with the price of food and whatever, and if things happen, I don't know how they're going to feed their families. I really, really don't. So I'm going to figure out what we're going to do for the next video. I'm not telling you it's going to come out next week, because I want to do some research and I want to get the best video I can. Hopefully this was a lot of information for you. And like I say, that's why I'm going to call it Grab Your Pencil. And, you know, write down the things that, you know, you took from here that you thought were important. You know, if you never drink coffee, I guess you don't need to write that down. I don't even know if Tom would drink instant coffee. I haven't had instant coffee since I was knee-high to a grasshopper, so I don't even know what it tastes like anymore. I'm not a coffee fan anyway, so. But in the comments below, write down some of the things that you want to know specifically about, and then I can look those things up too if I don't know about them. I'm not going to give you information that I don't know. I will look it up and get that proper information for you. So, thanks for watching. I hope this was a good video for you. We can do this, you guys. Together, we can figure out everything. We just need to come together as a community, as we always do, and help each other below, you know. And then there's something I keep forgetting to say. I do have a lot of links below in the more thing down there. And so if you shop at, you know, like at Amazon or anything like that, I do have a link. If you push on that link, I only get, you know, just pennies on whatever you purchase. But that does help so that once it stores up to enough money, then maybe I could buy something for my kitchen or whatever. And a lot of those links I do make some money off of. Not a whole lot, but actually Brada is the one that pays the best, honestly. So, you know, click on those links if you're going to buy from those places anyway. I would appreciate that. But you guys have a blessed Sunday. Me and Tom's going to be back to show you something I cannot wait to show you. Oh, he's going to put it together when he gets back here. It's something I've been wanting for a long time, and when they approached me, would you be willing to do a review? I was like, I couldn't type yes fast enough because I have wanted one for a very, very long time. So we're going to do that today, and then we're going to do our special dinner tonight. So thanks for watching, and you guys enjoy your day. And I love you. God bless you all, and I'll see you later.